Welcome to a spooky Nerds on the Tap. General Halloween stuff, I guess. Last time we had a girl. She had cool hair. I guess she has like a blog. We have an episode now. There's like fighting in it, like there usually is for our Nerdocalypse Part B, I think. You know, this Southern Tier pumpkin beer is really kicking my butt today, so let's do this. Guess what? Nerds on Tap.
Welcome to another episode of Nerds on Tap podcast. My name is Chris.
And I'm Jim.
I'm
Jesus, Joseph. Chew your food. God damn it.
And I'm eating crackers.
Joseph's eating crackers and trying not to be sick, I think, because he drank a lot of wine. So this is a podcast where we drink beer and wine if you're Joseph, and then eat crackers. And we talk about nerdy and or really stupid things. In this episode, we are doing our Nerdocalypse, and it's going to be a Halloween edition. So the Nerdocalypse, we stick 2 or more characters in a fight. I like the sound effects. We stick 2 or more characters in a fight to see who wins. Sometimes it's a fight to the death. Sometimes they end up in friendship. Sometimes we get no fucking where at all. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous because we picked 2 characters and then had our guest from our last episode, Bebo, pick 2 other characters to join them. So, in this matchup, we have
Sam and George versus a zombie and the Ice King. You win.
And so that's our Nerdocalypse. Sam from Trick or Treat. George was the ape from Rampage. We originally said King Kong, but it's actually, we looked it up, the name is George, and that's just too funny, so we had to go with George. And then Jim, you have a zombie, some kind of zombie. I don't know, it's up to you what kind of zombie it is, and you have the Ice King from Adventure Time. So that's who we got. Before we get into it, we drink stuff. Jim, what are you drinking right now?
So as per I was talking about last episode, I got the Pumking, and I mixed it with the Warlock, and it's like a beer pumpkin explosion. I was drinking the Warlock before. I'm finishing it off with the Pumking as like a half and half, and it's delicious. Like I said before, it really does. It kind of brings the pumpkin out a little bit. It cuts the sweetness of the Pumking with the Warlock, because the Warlock is going to be a darker beer. I mean, they're both Imperial ales, but... Actually, no, I'm sorry. The Pumking is an Imperial ale, and the Warlock is an Imperial stout. So you put those 2 together, and you have an Imperial stout ale, and it's delicious.
We're going to be really drunk this episode.
It's also a lot of alcohol, because,
Yeah.
because the Warlock is 10%.
I know because you called it a Beal.
A Beal, yeah.
Perfect.
This is a Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Still delicious.
See your nipples in the remake of fucking Texas Chainsaw, but yeah, because the Pumpkin is 8 the Pumpkin is 8.6. 8.6.
You're still thinking about Jessica Biel, aren't you?
Yep. It's totally not my type, but and then the Warlock is 10%. So if you add those together,
she has
That's your
nipples.
type.
She's totally your type. I like that you're drinking it out of a coffee mug.
I am drinking coffee mug, but it's an amazing venom where his tongue
That is a fabulous coffee mug.
comes around to be, he's like licking the back of his head. His tongue becomes the handle. And there is a Carnage one of this in this line as well. This is from Loot Crate. This is one of the Loot Crate things.
So what is Carnage is, because he doesn't use his tongue. Really?
Yeah, no, the back. It's just like the back of his head is red already, so they just do that.
Oh.
It's not
okay.
as cool as the Venom one. It really isn't as cool as the Venom one.
Man.
And I'm weird. I'm a weirdo, and I prefer the Max Gargan Venom over the Eddie Brock Venom. Even though the Flash Thompson Venom right now is pretty interesting, but
I
now
love
the
Flash Thompson Venom. Yeah.
it's cool. But no, I love the Mac Gargan Venom because Mac Gargan does not give a fuck, and he will just straight up eat your ass. So
you like little
then kill you.
eyeballs inside of the white
yes,
on Matt Gargan?
There is some art by I cannot. This is embarrassing. One of my favorite Marvel artists. He's from the Philippines, and his name is, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, and it's like Francis Lentiel Yu, and his version when he was the artist on Thunderbolts right after Civil War when Matt Gargan was Venom in Thunderbolts, and the art that he did for that was so good. And I love that shit, but yeah,
I can
he has
respect
the
that.
pupils in the eye.
You know what? I'm a person, and I'm probably in the minority, who I like Venom in most
are
of
a
his
minority.
incarnations. I am a minority, but I also like Venom in all of his incarnations. I like things about, of course, Eddie Brock Venom. I love things about Matt Gargan Venom, and I really like things about Flash Thompson Venom. They're all good to me.
When I go to play Maximum Carnage, the Super Nintendo version, it's so hard for me to not pick Venom when you give him the choice, because he runs through those levels and just destroys people. He's like grabbing them by the head and just like throwing them. It's insane. I love it.
Hi. I like Venom
Chris.
too.
What do you
Joseph,
drink,
what kind
Chris?
of crackers are you eating?
I'm eating saltine crackers.
What are saltines? They're not even Ritz. I thought they'd be Ritz.
No.
Yeah.
5 per serving, and I think they're about 60 to 80 calories per serving. So it's a good, healthy meal.
Say goodbye
In
to your
the
abs,
words-
bitch.
In the words of Bebo, you are so basic.
And I look like a guy who listens to Blink 182.
You do.
And Chris looks like a
And I
guy
do
who
listen
feeds
to
things after midnight.
That's me,
That's
Jim.
Jim.
Oh,
Jim.
I'm sorry. Jim.
I worry when I'm the most sober one on the show, because this has never happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty toasted.
I'm usually the drunkest, or at least in the middle, so I'm a little concerned for my
I can
well-being.
say, if anything, the crackers are decreasing my ability to focus rather than increase like I thought they would.
But are you
right.
drinking anything, Joseph?
I am.
Yeah, are you drinking?
I'm still drinking out of this black box, juice box, which is
Oh my god,
High C's new venture.
I want to tell such an inappropriate story right now, but I will refrain.
It is it's Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's fancy ass wine in a cheap ass box. So it's good red wine. I like it, but it's also very strong. So that's why I'm not quite myself.
I want you to do me a favor and remind me before I leave to tell you the story of why Black Box reminded me of something.
Black box,
I'm
got
not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it on the air.
I can
It's
probably
very
guess why.
inappropriate.
So I'm drinking. I have Shiner Oktoberfest.
Nice.
And it's really good. I really like this. So I had an Oktoberfest by Sierra Nevada last week, and I enjoyed that. I like this one even better. Very similar flavors. It's rich. It's malty. It's a little darker than the one that I had last week, but not as bitter. And there's more flavor. I think that's why there's more flavor to this one, so that's why I like it. I mean, besides that, I mean, they're essentially almost the same thing, but this one's just got a little stronger flavor, and I like that. So, yay! Bye, Jim.
Are the videos messing up again for you?
Jim went out,
Yeah.
but that's it.
You guys froze for a second. Luckily, since I'm on the recording end, you're going to see me the whole time eating crackers.
Was my audio still going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I can
good.
still hear everybody, just the videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, good beer. Let's move on to the Nerdocalypse. And let's get through this before one of us passes out. Like
Let's
one
get
of you
through this
two
quick.
passes.
Let me drink
Okay.
some more of this.
I only have so
Real
many
quick.
crackers, Chris.
Joseph, I need you to tell me about Sam and about George, if you can.
Well, George was previously a human who got transformed into a gigantic ape-like creature. Well, not even ape-like, a gigantic ape creature. He is the King Kong of the Rampage world, and he goes around eating people, crushing buildings, and I guess just for the sake of destruction and gathering points versus the lizard and the... What is the other guy?
There's a werewolf thing.
Werewolf,
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know a
Werewolf
lot about...
bar mitzvah, spooky, scary. Boys becoming men, men becoming wolves.
Oh, man, the video's cut out again.
Oh, Jesus, what?
I
Just
kind of
turned
want
off.
to.
All of a sudden, it just said, your video's turned off. And I went, fuck you, Skype.
It's like, we don't like singing.
I kind of want to put like little monster. I kind of want to put monster pictures up every time we cut out.
And you're going to have to because it
That'll be
happens
fun.
a lot. in
Just
this
do a
episode.
lightning strike sound effect every time we cut it. So who?
Let's just keep
who's-
going because Jim's video.
Yeah,
Sam.
Jim's video's messed up. Okay, Sam is the protagonist, antagonist of the Trick or Treat movie. He is essentially
Spoiler
a persona-
alert.
right.
Jeez.
He's essentially a personification of Samhain, the October festival, which is Halloween, and his basic motives are just to protect the purity of the Halloween season and the Halloween spirit in whatever way he can, even if that results in killing any non-believers or people who are essentially sacrilegious toward the Halloween season.
That is way more info than I knew about Sam. I'm pretty impressed.
I'm not even reading anything. This is just cracker power I'm going on here. Crackers and
No, we
You
have
can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
You can't harness cracker power. You're Mexican. It's not fair.
I'm half cracker.
Oh, man. I'm full.
So, Jim, you have a zombie, and you have the Ice King from Adventure Time. First, what kind of zombie do you have, and what exactly? What's the lore on zombies?
I mean, if you go by the Max Brooks type of zombie, I mean, there's a couple different variations on the zombie lore.
Even according to our U.S. government, if you read those Pentagon plans,
Yeah.
there's like
I mean,
6 types.
that was their trick to try to get you to not be afraid of Al Qaeda. But no, I mean there's a couple, like the two main types that breaks down though is like the voodoo zombie, which the voodoo zombie is different because we're talking in the voodoo zombie you're talking about a voodoo spell that actually takes it's basically like the Thriller zombie where they actually come
Right.
out of the grave kind of a thing. So we're talking about long dead corpses reanimated. That's a totally separate thing, and I'm not going to go with that. Otherwise, you're
Okay.
talking about the zombie. We're talking about a virus where basically the virus turns the brain into an autonomous, fully functioning organ that doesn't need any other organs to function. Basically, it doesn't need any other stimuli. It doesn't need any other. It doesn't need to breathe. They don't need. It becomes a different function of the brain where it's almost like the automated, almost animalistic part of your brain can move your limbs, but at the same time, it doesn't need muscle. It doesn't need respiration. It doesn't need any circulatory system. It becomes a completely independent organ in your body that can move a corpse, basically, because you die and then you come back.
That brings up a question that I just thought of, though. So, zombies, I mean, being dead, I assume that they don't really need to eat then, but you always, I mean, the thing with zombies is they're always eating people. So, do you think that it's because there is a hunger, or do you think they're only eating people because their teeth are really their only weapons? And it's how they attack.
Basically, all the higher functions of the brain is gone. It's only the lower, almost like id functions of the brain. So basically, it's almost like every human is automatically, because of genetics, the like underneath everything that we have, everything that's been evolved, the only thing we have that's like an automatic impulse other than hunger is to procreate, right? So knowing that in its bite, because of its saliva, passes along the virus. It's not so much about eating and hunger. It's more about preserving your like gene pool. Now, most zombies, they will eat and kill a corpse. They would kill a person to the point where they can't become a zombie. I mean, even if as long as your head is still intact, you can still become, quote unquote, a zombie. You just won't have a body to be able to transport yourself. Right. But that's just because there are no higher functions. It's only id. I mean, a zombie will attack something and then eat too much of it, kind of a thing. But yeah, they don't digest. There's no digestion whatsoever. I mean, if a zombie eats enough, I mean, their stomachs will become full enough where it will just because of the decaying flesh, it just comes out, and there's nowhere that it goes. There's no such thing as zombie poop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everything else is just done. It's only the brain moving around enough just to progress the virus.
Did you ever read Marvel Zombies, the first run?
I think I read the second one.
Okay, well, the first one, it reminded me because of what you were saying about their stomachs getting overfilled. When Hulk was a zombie, he ate, obviously he's Hulk, so he just ate so much. And then since he doesn't really have rage because he was content, like he was full, or he was pleased as a zombie, he got enough food in him, he turned back to Bruce Banner, and his stomach was just gigantic because all of the bodies that Hulk could hold, Bruce Banner couldn't, so his stomach did just that. It kind of exploded. And shit started pouring out of it. So kind of back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, the tricky thing about zombies is, and The Walking Dead did this the smart way, because obviously if a virus hit and eventually it stopped spreading, the pool of zombies would eventually die out. Because obviously, I mean, you still are decaying because you're still dead. So eventually you would get, a zombie apocalypse wouldn't be able to sustain itself, and it would die out if there wasn't another way to spread it other than biting. Because eventually all the zombies that were on for that initial outbreak, once they were able to quarantine and either cure or stop the spread of it, they would all just decay to the point where they wouldn't be able to do anything, obviously. And The Walking Dead did the smart thing where the virus actually, if you die, you become one regardless.
Right.
So even if you aren't bitten,
everyone's already infected, basically.
Right. Spoiler, they are The Walking Dead.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And that's the thing about and a lot of this between the two, almost authorities, I mean, you can look at... The thing about the Romero films is the Romero films doesn't really explain so much about the actual workings of zombies, because the Romero films use the idea of zombies more as a metaphor, and it's not really interested in the ins and outs of the workings or whatever, because it doesn't matter. That's more of a metaphor to whatever. Every Romero film uses zombies as a metaphor for a different thing. But if you look at the writings of Max Brooks, more the zombie survival guide, less the World War Z, which I didn't care for. But the zombie survival guide really took all of the zombie fiction and put it all together into a reference not only for how to survive through a zombie apocalypse, but it also kind of went through the inner workings of what a zombie really is and how the virus works, what it does to the human body. And it kind of goes in depth, and it's almost like, as much as Isaac Asimov would write all the rules for artificial intelligence, like our robot, all the 3 rules of robotics, Max Brooks kind of did that for zombies, and everything kind of has to follow that because it's the most logical way to do it.
That's very interesting. So can you give us that much of a scientific answer for who the Ice King is?
Depending on what you've watched of the Ice King, I mean, in the beginning, the Ice King is kind of a one-dimensional protagonist where he's your stereotypical, antagonist that's just basically all he wants to do is kidnap princesses because he's a lonely and disgusting. But
he's a pervy old man.
Yeah, he's basically a pervy, weird guy. But he's voiced by Tom Kenny, who's... If you don't know who Tom Kenny is, then you don't know anything about voice acting, pretty much. Yeah. Other than being the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants, he's in everything. Yeah, he's in everything. He works almost as much... He doesn't do as much video game work as Nolan North, but at the same time, he does enough that, like, in everything you watch, he's in. Like, I noticed that he was in, like, Rick and Morty the other day. I was like, oh, yeah, of course Tom Kenny was the voice of that character. He has so many voices, whatever.
He's in one of my favorite cartoons that it was like on Adult Swim, and it was very underrated, but I love it, called Mission Hill. Yeah, it's like one of my all-time favorites, and he had a really funny character on that one.
He's one of those voice actors that he likes to work. So if he can, if he's interested in the character, he'll do it, and he always brings something interesting to the table. So he'll do it if he's inclined. But yeah, that's the way Ice King started. But then there's a really complicated history with what the world of Adventure Time actually is, and it's basically a spoiler alert. It's a post-apocalyptic world that Ice King actually started out as a scientist named Simon, who he found a book called the Enchiridion that helped bring upon this apocalypse that we're in now. And he actually helped raise Marceline, the vampire character. And he's actually kind of a sympathetic. They kind of did the Darth Vader thing where they went back and they made him more of a sympathetic character. But I mean, as the Ice King, he's fucking cuckoo bananas. But because the reason that he's cuckoo bananas is because he found the crown, the ice crown, and the crown is what gives him his power, his ice powers. But it also
so it's like Frostmourne and the Lich King,
right? It also turns you crazy. So the longer he wears it, the crazier he gets, and he did it in order to protect Marceline when she was a girl, and then he did it for so long that he ended up turning into this crazy, princess-obsessed madman. And and at the same time, though, he's kind of an idiot. Like, he's not very... he's kind of a moron. But, his ice powers are pretty crazy, so... Yeah, if he's distracted by something dumb, then he's kind of an idiot, so... But his power is pretty all-encompassing, but it does make him crazy the more he uses it, so...
So... Because all these people are from completely different universes, I feel like there's no feasible thing I think that we could come up with to put them all in the same spot to fight, except for, I'm just going to say all four of them get plopped into one environment, Hunger Games style. They just all show up. We'll make it... I don't know. We'll make it like a city so that George has, any kind of function at all, because that's all he does is destroy buildings. So we'll say they just get plopped in the middle of like a downtown kind of Chicago-ish kind of area. Let's make it East St. Louis, because that place sucks. And hardly anyone lives there anymore anyway.
And nobody would notice if it's destroyed.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, East St. Louis listeners.
No. We're not sorry. I grew up in that area. It's fine. It needs to be bulldozed and rebuilt or something. No one would notice, like Jim said, if the buildings were destroyed. So, they're all there. Sam and George are on a team. Ice King and this random zombie are on a team. And they know they're on a team. They don't know why, but they're on teams. They're facing off against each other. What happens?
Well, the first thing Ice King would do is ask the zombie, like, "Hey, what's your deal, man? Let's be in a band," because he's an idiot. And he would try to be cool. Like he would probably think the zombie's really neat and cool, and be like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" He would try to impress him in some way. Like, "Hey, I can do some ice stuff. Like, what can you do, buddy?"
I wish this zombie was one of those business guys. Like, oh, business. Like, I can't remember all that they say, but I remember liking that episode.
Oh God,
I do remember you talking about. Yeah.
I think Brian Posehn played one of them. Yep.
I actually think it was Brian Posehn and Steve Agee, and because that's cool because they were on Sarah Silverman program together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brian Posehn's great.
Steve Agee is amazing, and he's underrated for sure.
I agree.
I think Sam would be riding on the shoulder of George just because he's so small in comparison. That's the only way he could really get around.
Yeah. And how big is George? So I mean, George is big enough that he can do damage to buildings, but he's not as big as a building.
But he's not as small as King Kong either. You gotta
right. He's got to be at least 3 stories tall.
Okay,
maybe 4.
That sounds about right.
So he's pretty big. So it's a pretty tall order for Ice King and a zombie to take on. So Jim, like, what do you think they would do? How would they take on something that's that big?
Well, depending on the climate, actually, I don't think it depends so much on the climate. I mean, obviously, Ice King has ice-based powers, but he can bring, ice out of anything. I mean, there's always moisture in the air.
Right.
So if you would almost think about in Frozen, they make a big snow golem.
Are you serious?
He would totally make like a big golem for Ice King to ride on, made out of ice and snow, and like not an Olaf, more like a big no, come back kind of guy. And you just be like, let's do this, and it just be like a fist fight just in the background while like Sam and the zombie are just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, of course, you're referring to the horror movie Frozen, where they're trapped on a ski lift for the entire movie.
No, I am talking about the Disney animated with Anna and the Ice Queen.
I feel like I'm the only person who hasn't seen that movie.
No, I haven't
in
seen
the world.
it either. It's because we don't have kids.
You don't have kids?
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I did get stuck in a car with somebody, though, on a road trip who their CD player broke with the Frozen CD in, and that's all we could listen to was the soundtrack of Frozen.
Let it go, Chris. Just let it go.
I know way more of the words than I wish I did, so it was a rough trip.
Oh, man. Okay, so who would initiate this battle? They're all kind of villainous in their own right.
They really are. Like, all 4 of them pretty much are. Yeah.
Zombies mindless. Ice King's just, I guess he
Zombie
tries
would
to
be
cool.
chaotic neutral, I guess. Just...
Well, before Ice King would make his big snow golem almost like mech thing, Ice King would encase himself in ice and then would be in almost like the pilot seat of this giant snow guy. He would give the zombie ice weapons, almost like ice knives, or give him almost like an ice armor to be
yeah. A zombie wouldn't really be able to utilize ice knives because he's not really thinking about jab.
Basically,
jab.
It would be like an encasing that would just make the zombie sharp in certain parts, so when he attacked him, it just would inadvertently stab him.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, so, and George, he would just go around really, he has a mind, really, the mind of the player. He's not mindless. He has a goal, which is, eating people. So if he's in a city setting, like you said, then my primary mission is just go around punching buildings and eating the people who are in the windows or any kind of bonus item I can find, bananas, whatever's in there.
So
whatever adds to my points.
Since you bring that up, like we said, we popped them in Hunger Games style. It means there's nobody else there. It's just these guys. So if George is looking around for somebody to eat, but the Ice King is in his ice mech, would George then go for zombie? Would he deem that as food?
I think because he would see ice mech as a building of sorts, because it is it's a solid object. He would just start trying to punch through it to see if there were breakable spots and see what kind of sweet morsels were inside.
Yeah,
so you think he would
candy.
go for that first?
Exactly. There could be candy in there.
Power-ups.
So he'd go for that before he would go for the zombie on the ground.
If it were me playing as George, then yes, because the zombie would have some kind of green stink lines coming off of him, and I'd be like, that's probably bad for me. I would probably throw that up if I put it in my mouth.
Fair enough. So George is
so many times in my life where I thought to myself, I'm probably going to throw up if I put that in my mouth.
That's what she said.
Oh, nice. But yeah,
Oh.
I don't know. So
Spooky.
George is punching the ice mech. What's Ice King gonna do? What's Zombie gonna do to save the Ice King? Does Zombie even give a shit?
Is Sam a human?
No, he's kind of like
Sam is like a little. He's like a little. He's a little supernatural being. He's a demon type. He has a pumpkin like head, but it's covered with a burlap sack. Yeah.
Here's the embarrassing thing, and I'm going to admit, I've never seen that movie, and I've been meaning to see it for so long in my life.
Maybe we need to watch it while I'm there.
Here's the thing. It came out right around the time that Ember was born, and we couldn't really watch horror movies, and like...
Well, yeah, and there was a thing, too, where Trick or Treat's release was delayed by like 2 years.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it, so...
Now it's become The Grudge. Ju-on
Oh my god, we should have had the Grudge kid in here.
/ The Ring. So anybody listening to this, you're going to die in 7 days. Yeah.
The Japanese, like, whatever that is, deity.
Yeah, Ju-on or Ringu.
I saw The Grudge, and I didn't give a shit. Like, as, like, whatever, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who cares?
I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, but The Grudge...
Is the original better?
Ju-on? Probably, yeah. It really depends on what you like in a
I
horror
remember-
movie, I guess.
I remember seeing The Ring in theaters, and it scaring the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And then I bought it on DVD, and it just did not have the same effect on me whatsoever.
Joseph, didn't you guys just watch it?
Yeah, we recently watched it again. I think it held up pretty well.
It's scary.
Yeah, I think I gave it an 8 or an 8.5. It was still pretty good. Not the best movie ever, but it has points.
I remember I was in high school when it came out, and I went with a bunch of friends who were girls, and I was sitting. I know. I had my friend Samantha on one side and my friend Lindsay on one side, and they both were holding my hand and like squeezing my fucking hand so hard I could feel their pulse. And then I remember on the drive home, it was dark, and we were like, I swear to God, we kept seeing like shit like on the side of the road that scared the fuck out of us.
Dang,
like,
baller.
You were just seeing random montages of like
black
and white movies.
It was a scary ride home. And then I bought it. It was like, this is the scariest movie ever. And I was like, eh.
It's not
you
as
just
scary.
You just have to be surrounded by women when you watch it. That's the trick for you.
All right, let's get back to
Right, so George is there. He's punching the ice. Zombie's in armor. He's just kind of shambling around. I'm not sure because he can't really go for. I guess he would try to bite. I'm not sure. I don't know what his thing is, but Sam really doesn't have a purpose right now because no one's really shaming Halloween at all. He's just kind of there. He's observing. In the movie, even he was primarily an observer of things.
Yeah, up
He's
until
like a watcher.
He had the run-in with Brian Cox's character.
Right.
Brian Cox is in that too.
Oh yeah,
Brian Cox is in The Ring as well.
Everybody's in that movie. So is one of your favorite dudes,
Ben Foster?
No, son of a bitch.
Joseph's penis?
Battlestar Galactica, Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Tom O'Pennicott?
Yes, he is in it as well.
I'm slightly bisexual, so but I'm really, really picky about guys. So like, yeah, Tom O'Pennicott, I would do many things to.
I think we can all relate to that. Slightly bisexual, but extremely picky.
So were you really mad that I got a picture with him at Comic-Con?
Yeah, I hate you that you met anyone from Battlestar Galactica because I still haven't met anyone from Battlestar Galactica, and I fucking love the show.
Hold on a sec. Chris, is Jim's video still a circle to you?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm right here.
You never came back.
What is he going to be this whole episode? I'm curious.
I haven't come back at all.
Maybe Bride of Frankenstein?
Bride of Frankenstein?
I think we lost him last time.
No, I'm playing with stuff now.
Okay. Yeah, your audio's been perfect, but your video has just been circled the whole time.
Right.
Seriously, I thought I was fine the whole time. I stopped.
No, you've been a circle this entire, almost the whole episode.
Almost.
There he is.
Hey,
Look at that
he's
handsome-ish
Jim
face.
is here. It wasn't Bride of Frankenstein after all.
Yes.
Here, let's get this prepped. This fight is unsustainable. I don't.
Yeah, we
understand.
gotta. Let's.
It's just
Okay.
punching each other for no reason.
All right. This is what we're gonna do because this is just absolutely ridiculous. Both of you, I want you to pick a character of yours, of your own, that you don't think is gonna survive this fight. And
Zombies gone. Zombies gone.
Probably get stepped on by
Yeah.
George.
I'm going to toss Sam out. He's a supernatural force, so he can't die, but he is going to be... He has no purpose here. He's gone.
Go back to whatever realm he's from.
Sam's
Right.
just like bored. There's nothing really going on that he's a part of, so he just.
I need to stop drinking this.
So, all right, let's figure out between George and the Ice King and his big ice mech, what's going to happen? Jim, I want you to make an argument of how would the Ice King beat George?
Look, here's the thing about Ice King. He's an idiot, and eventually, like, George is gonna go, and Ice is gonna be gone, and then Ice King's gonna go, "You want to play Chinese checkers?" or something stupid, and then that's the end of it. He would like give like an olive branch of friendship, and you just be like, "Why did you just say that?" Because he's weird.
Joseph, what do you think?
Let's say in this version, let's say Lizzie the lizard also gets transported in, and for whatever reason gets transported in as the female that she is in regular human form. At which point, Ice King is going to become incredibly distracted and try to make her his wife.
Yeah. If she's a princess, he's all about it.
She's a princess of lizards because she can transport, or she can mutate into a giant lizard. So
Perfect.
that's my defense. I mean, at which point George wouldn't need to necessarily eat Ice King. He would just go about his business, crushing buildings and terrorizing the town.
Okay.
So basically, like George just goes off in the distance. He just like
does his own
Yeah, George is done with the battle because Ice King's not going to net him many points anyway, and the building just crushing period is going to get him a max score.
Ice King is so worthless, he would be negative points.
Right, exactly. That's another one of those. I don't know if I'd throw up if I put him in my mouth because it looks too cold.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Ice King in my mouth either. Same reason I wouldn't put a White Walker in my mouth.
Of course.
This is going to be the final verdict. This is what happens, and this is final. Sam's going to come back.
Oh, man.
And Sam's going to be like, this was supposed to be a Halloween episode, so he's going to kill fucking everybody, and it's over, and he wins.
Oh.
Just Sam all by himself.
And
He's
then
like, I wanted Halloween, so he just kills everyone.
And the closing shot is a jack-o'-lantern. A jack-o'-lantern on a porch. Time is up. the
closing shot.
A jack-o'-lantern on a porch. It's a sustained shot, and then it's zooming out slowly into the darkness as the episode ends.
And then it says, "To be continued?" Question mark.
Question mark.
Yes.
Cue the lightning and the thunder. All right, that might be the dumbest episode we've ever had. So we're definitely calling this one. That's over. So Sam wins everything.
Yeah.
I'm so
And,
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Guys, thank you for sticking through
This is what
one.
happens when Jim drinks 10% alcohol beer combined with 8% alcohol beer.
And Joseph gets so drunk that he keeps eating. Every time, like, we know when Joseph is too drunk because he starts eating food. Like, he had pumpkin seeds at one time and he got really sick.
Oh, yeah. This
So
whole
we
bag
know-
this whole bag of crackers is gone.
Oh my god!
That was 40 crackers, gentlemen. 40
How
crackers.
are you not thirsty with all those saltines?
I was thirsty, and I'm done with this, too.
Don't judge this podcast by this episode, please.
I have
But
beer
go-
left in this venom head.
But
I
go
don't
and
want-
rate us on iTunes regardless. And like we said before, if you leave a comment, we will read the comment on air regardless of what you say. So please do that. And hopefully by now it's launched, but Joseph and I have a spinoff that's actually coming. It's actually coming this time. Saturday
It
Morning
is.
Cartoon Boom
Oh,
is the name.
wow. You named it. It's
Cha-ching.
actually coming, yes.
It's coming. It's coming all over to all of you.
Oh, like coming.
That's the second time that's happened in this show. So it's a spinoff of our episode 13A, which was Saturday Morning Cartoon Explosion.
Still our most listened to episode.
Exactly. This podcast's most listened to, most downloaded episode. So we decided we wanted to do more of it. So Joseph and I started Saturday Morning Cartoon. Boom. It should be up by now on iTunes. If it's not, sorry. Try next week.
It will be.
But it's fun. We watch one cartoon per episode, 3 episodes of that cartoon, and we talk about it. If you have a cartoon that you want us to watch, let us know. Information should be in those episodes on how to contact us. And then Jim has his own thing going on our YouTube channel, Board Nerds, which if you listen to the last episode, it was brought up with him and Bebo that Jim likes board games. And that's what he does. He does board game stuff. How can you tell? So he's got 2 episodes of that out. It's semi-monthly, kinda, but
I got lazy another one, but I have things coming. I actually made a bunch of behind the scenes stuff going on yesterday. It's getting exciting because I can't help but get caught up in the whole board game community thing. But I actually have a review copy of something coming before a Kickstarter, so that's exciting. So there's more content to come for sure. I have ideas. Plus, I actually have 2 people behind the scenes helping me with ideas, so that aren't Joseph and Chris. So,
if you're a board game fan, definitely check out the show. It's a great show. It's well put together, and Chris and I have nothing to do with it, so you know it's great.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with this one. Also, if you want to have fun, watch this episode or listen to this episode. And for a drinking game, take a drink for every time we say the word "come," because we said it a lot, especially in the last 5 minutes. You're going to be drunk. It'll be a lot of fun.
It's true. It's true. I want to share a picture.
Oh, he's got a picture to share.
So we talk about our friend Tom a lot. He's an avid listener of the show. Okay. Eventually, I'm going to try to make this commercial for our podcast that he wrote, and it's hilarious. He did the voiceover work for it. But he just saw this picture of Tom. He likes to drink fruity drinks. This is what he usually does on a time where he goes to a bar. He gets the girliest, fruitiest drink there is. Oh, there it goes. It went away. That's Tom. I've known him for many, many years. He is a dork. You might have noticed that if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm wearing a fucking awesome Nerds on Tap t-shirt. Whoa, look at that. Nerds on Tap. Stay tuned. Sometime in the future, we will have a contest, and you will get a chance to win one of these amazing t-shirts. So,
all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Guys, I'm Chris.
I'm Jim.
I'm Joseph. And this is the
thanks
end.
for listening to Nerds on Tap. Thanks for making it if you made it. Cheers, nerds. Drink like a nerd. Sorry about every episode we have ever done, especially this one.
I'm not drinking this anymore. I'm so sorry.
I feel my
Alfred, I need information from the back computer.
Master Bruce. How goes the raid on Arkham?
I have these names, Chris, Jim, and Joseph. They call themselves Nerds on Tap.
It says here, sir, that they can be found on Twitter at nerds_on_tap and on Facebook and iTunes. They even have a YouTube channel with all the episodes as well as other content. I'm watching it right now. It's nerdy, but quite good, sir.
These 3 need to be brought to justice. I will rid Gotham of their nerdiness. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am the Batman.